All right, here we are on our Wednesday morning work. We're going to start with this page on main idea and details. This is really similar to the other pages that you've done. You're going to look at these 3 main idea questions, and you're going to figure out which one of these paragraphs goes with each question. Pretty easy. Moving along, we're going to work on our nature poem today, okay? So I want to draw your attention back to week 2, day 1. So that was Monday. I want to show you or remind you about their nature poem that they did. Let me see here. So it looks like this. Remember, nature, lizard skitters on the path, muskrat takes a rustic bath, beaver weaves a home of sticks, dragonfly does fancy tricks, and so on and so on. You can see they had a whole bunch of animals from their habitat, and they said something that they did. Okay, you're going to do the same thing for your nature poem. You're going to look at your habitat that you were writing about. Remember, we've been writing about the same habitat for a few days, and you're going to write down a bunch of animals and something the animal is doing for each one. It does not have to rhyme, but it can if you want it to. After you fill out this page in your nicest, neatest handwriting, you're going to copy it over to this page. This is like your final draft paper. Make sure I see both. I want to see a picture of this one. Then we're going to move on to something called About My World. Okay, today we're going to figure out what continent, country, city, county, and continent, country, state, county, city we live in. Okay, now if all of those sound confusing, let me see if I can clarify for you. I am switching tabs. We're going to go into Google Earth. So, thinking about the continent we live on. Here's our great big world coming up. Zooming way, way out. Here's our great big world, and we live on this big mass of land called North America. Now, North America is a pretty big place, so maybe we want to be more specific about where we live, and we can go to our country. The country we live in is called the United States, and here it is outlined in red. Okay, but the United States is also a big, big place. So if we want to be more specific, we can say we live in Washington State. Here it is zooming in for Washington State. But believe it or not, Washington State is also a big place, and Washington State is broken up into counties, and the county we live in is way at the top. It's called Whatcom County. Here it is. But as you might have guessed, Whatcom County could also be considered a big place. So if we want to be even more specific, we could go down to the city we live in. Now that's going to depend on where you live, so make sure you know what city you live in. But let's say you live in Bellingham. Here's Bellingham. Or you might live in Deming. Here's Deming. Or specifically, I guess they're going to go with Tree Frog Lane. I got it to pull up Deming earlier. So depending on where you live, apparently it doesn't want Deming. Depending on where you live is kind of those demographics. So you're going to figure that out, going from a really, really big place like what continent we live on all the way down to this small city we live in. Once you have that information, you are going to do a little bit of work down here. You're going to draw your city, your town, your state, your country, and your continent. You can use Google Earth if that's allowed at your house, or you can watch the video and kind of pause it and use my video for a reference on how to draw your state, your country, and your continent. Okay? On the back, draw me a nice picture of what your city looks like in your state. Last thing for today is a pattern sheet. We're back to sevens. Let me hear that Sergeant Sevens all the way from my house. That's going to be all for packet work today. Get to it and have a great day.